Hello everyone, Mr. Schultz here. We are talking in Integrated Math 1, 10.7, Midpoints and Bisectors. Make sure that you write your first name and your last name at the top of your page as well as your period number. Now, once again, we are talking about midpoints, points, and bisectors. So a midpoint is the point halfway between the endpoints of the segment or the line segment. So for example, if we have A and B, line segment A and B, and A is at 2 and B is at 5, well, what's halfway in between? Well, we might want to go, okay, we have a 3, we have a 4, and then we're like, oh, what's halfway in between 3 and 4? It would be 3.5. Well, how do we get that number? Well, besides going cut, and figuring out what's halfway in between? Well, we can add these and then divide by 2. So another term we're going to learn about is equidistant. This is a point that is equal in distance from other points. So if we have a point that is, let's erase that. Let's do a line. So if we have a point that is equidistant, well, that means both of these are equal. And we're going to see that in midpoints. The midpoint is exactly halfway in between. It is equal in distance from either of the endpoints. Just another way of saying it, guys. Let's go on. So let's learn about one variable midpoints. So the nice one to know is like, hey, look, this guy's at 10, this guy's at 20. We could figure out that, hey, it's going to be at 15. We're like, okay, what's halfway between 10 and 20? Well, it's 15. But we should understand that we can get that from adding the two numbers and then dividing by 2. Now, this is one number line, so we only have to do this once. So 10 plus 20 divided by 2. Well, 10 plus 20 is 30. Divided by 2 is 15. So here's our brief introduction to the midpoint formula. Let's continue. So what if we have negative numbers? Well, let's say this is negative 10. And this is at 10. Well, let's go 20. Well, we're like, okay, what goes in between? What is halfway in between, or the midpoint? So what we are going to do is we're going to add them. So in this one variable line right here, we're going to add negative 10 plus 20 divide by 2. Well, negative 10 plus 20 is kind of sketch, guys. So we're going to do 20 minus 10 instead, and we get 10 divided by 2. 20 minus 10 is 10 over 2, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So the midpoint would be 5. Let's go on. In 3, 2, 1. All right, now let's do some of these. Find the midpoints on these lines. All right, let's do it. So JL. So I'm going to say x1 plus x2 divided by 2. The middle point is x1 plus x2 divided by 2. Okay, well, JL. J is negative 7. L is negative 2, so I'm going to do negative 7 plus negative 2 divided by 2. Well, negative 7 plus negative 2 is negative 9. Divided by 2 is negative 4.5. So the midpoint is negative 4.5. All right, go ahead and you do JK, and I'll give you the answer in 3, 2, 1. All right, so in this one I got negative 5.5 because I added negative 7, negative 4, got negative 11, divided by 2, got negative 5.5. All right, let's do KP together. So k is at -4, p is at 5. I'm going to divide by 2. So -4 plus 5 is 1 divided by 2 equals 1/2. So the midpoint would be at 0.1. All right, let's continue on. You do NP. Now, this one should be easier. It's starting at 3 and 5. What's in between 3 and 5? All right, let's do one more, and then I'm going to have you finish the rest of these. So JP, -7 plus 5 divided by 2. -7 plus 5 is 2, but wait, it's negative. Divided by 2 is -1 is equal to the midpoint. All right, guys, let's continue. So we have 2 more until we get to some of the harder ones. So, home improvement. Callie wants to build a fence halfway between her house and her neighbor's house. How far away from Callie's house should the fence be built? All right, well, I see that, hey, it's at 10. So I want to find out how much is between 10 and 28. Now, all this would have been figured out if we could have just went from here to here and be like, all right, the middle point's right here. But we are given this scenario, so we have to figure it out. So I'm going to figure out where's the middle point. I'm going to say 10 plus 28 divided by 2. So I get 38 divided by 2. And 38 divided by 2, it's not 20, it's 19. So it should be 19 feet away from Callie's house. All right. And just to be clear, that's from here. That'd be 19. Let's go on. Go ahead and do number 8. Show your work, and let's go on. It says Calvino's home is located at the midpoint. So what we should probably do is draw a diagram, label it, and then find our midpoint. All right, guys, we're going to go into our 2 variable midpoints going on in 3, 2, 1. All right, midpoint part 1 continued. So we had determined the midpoint of 2 points that only had 1 dimension. Now we are going to incorporate 2 dimensions, and they are the x and the y. So we did the x, now we're going to add in the y. So here's our formula. The midpoint formula is literally, hey, the coordinates of the midpoint will equal, add the x's, divide by 2, and add the y's, divide by 2. Take those 2 results, and hey, those are our new coordinate points. Think of it as this. You found all this gold, and you found a bunch of puppies with your friend. Now, however many you and your friend, add up how many gold pieces you found and how many gold pieces your friend found, divide by 2, add up how many puppies you found and how many puppies your friend found, and divide by 2, and you're sharing it equally. I like to think of this as the sharing formula, because we're finding the halfway point, the midpoint between 2 variables right now. All right, let's go on. So what I would like you to do is I'd like you to informally paraphrase this, explain this in your own words. If you have to wait until the end of the lecture, go ahead, but come back and make sure this is done. All right, so let's show some examples. So the midpoint, so xm and ym, the midpoint coordinates, is equal to the x's, 5 plus 3 divided by 2, and the y's, 11 plus 1 divided by 2. So when I do that, 5 plus 3 is 8 divided by 2. 11 plus 1 is 12 divided by 2. And so the midpoint is equal to 4, 6. All right, I want you to do it, and I'm going to give you the answer for number 10 in 3, 2, 1. All right, there you go. There's the answer, but how do we get that? Well, let's show you the trick without having to write it out. I'm going to add the x's together. So number 11, I'm going to add the x's together. I get -6. I'm going to add the y's together. -11 plus 5 is -6. Now I'm going to divide by 2. And now I'll get my midpoint. So the midpoint of this is equal to -3, -3. I did the exact same thing. I just didn't show the work right there. So this formula, you add the x's, divide by 2. Add the y's, divide by 2. All right, go ahead and do 12, 13, and 14 for some homework. And we're going to pause now. And before we go, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to ask me questions. And at this moment, I want you to put a star on questions that you are struggling with. Like, don't pick every single one, but put a star, and I will try to explain it to you in class or through our learning management system. I'll give you some comments or hints or something to help you out. All right, guys, you have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys in class.